not be available this week. He is, in fact, available. Void Prison is globally banned. Zeratul is open. And we got an exciting week. How much Phoenix are we going to see in the first ban phase?
Oh, you went a little bit too far, Wolf, already. Are we even going to see Phoenix in actual games? I have doubts. I think he's going to be banned most of the time. Oh, of course, if he's open, I think it's first pick definitely for any teams that's going to compete this weekend. And I think today and tomorrow we have to build up the story. Of course, these matches matter a lot, but the top 3 fights are the real. Top 2, especially Black and Ballistic, they are waiting for the last match on Sunday. So that's another exciting news. I heard lots of their teammates, especially Sake, was pretty upset, but seems like he's all good. Prepared a lot with the strategy about the talents and all that. So I'm excited for Sunday's match number 2, of course.
I'm very excited for that as well. As just seeing how the first match of the day is going to go with GLuck and BlossoM, because it's a very close match. It's going to be between 4 and 5. If GLuck wins, they have a high chance of moving up in the rankings later on.
Wolf, now we have the line that you have to cross.
Yeah, that's the line.
That's the yellow line.
So Miracle could still be relegated, but that is the playoff line. And Feliz and Ace are just below it down there. In our second series, of course, we're going to have Tempest versus Miracle. So Miracle, with a loss against Tempest, which is very likely, would find themselves in the same score line. So very scary place to be for this team. It's been such a legacy team in Korea since 2016. Very much could be times changing here. Ballistics, of course, still at the top.
Yep, along with KSP Black. Tempest, of course, dropping their series against GLuck, somewhat shocking. But even after that, their match against a stronger team, KSP Black, has been lots of disappointments, actually. 0-3, that was a big one. And we have our first match, though, BlossoM versus GLuck. They're right in the middle. Can they actually rise up a little bit before the playoff? I think that's what we're going to see tonight.
It's also going to be very much a preview to what we'll likely see in our second match of the playoffs themselves, because they will face off against each other almost no matter what. So that's going to be a pretty exciting one, because it should be very close, and as mentioned, it will be a bit of a preview. Second series will be Tempest versus Miracle, so could be a one-sided match. Most would expect, unless Miracle does really step it up. Tempest has been falling a little bit since their undefeated run in part 1. So, you know, maybe Miracle, if they practice and prepared a lot, could take a series win, but doesn't feel likely. But for their sake, I hope they have prepared well.
And I think BlossoM losing one of their cards, one of the biggest cards, Wiz playing Zeratul, in certain maps or certain battleground, has been their strength somewhat. As a team, it has showed their color to have the solo lane, not playing Blaze, not playing Sonya much, actually bringing Zeratul most of the time. Without Void Prison, I think they will lose that color a little bit. Of course, they're against the weaker team, so to say, but they still have a good chance of losing in this series against GLuck. So I think that's one of the things that they actually have to think about, and maybe think about some other solo lanes tonight.
Certainly going to be a big priority pick, lost, as without Void Prison, Zeratul just simply is not powerful right now. So he's available technically, but very likely to be banned. Here is GLuck. They've been rising up quite significantly since the beginning of the season, and we got to speak with Saren a little bit today. Ran into him in the elevator. Feels like Phoenix is pretty busted at the moment, and I think that we will see some Phoenix play today. I don't know if it will be in this series, but I think at some point he will go through a draft, and we'll see at least one game of Phoenix, you have to imagine. There's a fairly low win rate in other tournaments. I believe it was played twice in Latin America, went 0-2, and then was, I think, fielded in Heroes of the Dorm as well. But
yeah, I just saw this morning from Dorm.
Yeah, he's pretty low win rate at the moment in terms of pro play, but this is Korea we're talking about here. And we'll see
I think if you have the matchup like Leorix in 2, then I think it's the perfect time to use that Planet Cracker. I think we will see that. Maybe. Of course, Salvo, I think, is the way, though. But if you have the perfect CC Pain, CC, not Pain. Of course, it will be Pain after. If you have the perfect CC Chain, I think it's a good heroic to actually choose for Phoenix.
I mean, Planet Cracker is insanely powerful.
Yes.
This is a great map for Phoenix, by the way. Tomb of the Spider Queen. Depending on what build we're going to see from Phoenix, there's a lot you could do because he can warp really easily between lanes. He's got good pressure, harass. He can push lanes very quickly, but also because he has great wave clear, when he's in disruption mode, he can really empower wave push, deal with it well. Fantastic hero for the map. So let's see if GLuck wants to gamble a little bit here and ban the Maiev, Medivh, and see if BlossoM gives them the opportunity to be the first player in HGC Pro to play the Phoenix. Phoenix has, according to Hotslog's data, which is from thousands of replays, especially high-level play, a 63% win rate currently in Hero League, and that is with 98% involvement. And remember that we have never really had a hero go that high. Like, Zul was, I think, 57% when he had his run.
Well, Maiev almost had that.
Close.
Almost 60, low 60s. There's that Phoenix man. Has to be done.
Sleeves Maiev open, but Malfurion has been prioritized over Maiev by most teams so far in this tournament.
This is before the live patch, guys. Just the same patch as last weekend,
yes.
The Phoenix patch, not the latest one with the Tracer nerf.
Yeah, so
and a few other changes with the false stat changes also.
Yeah, and the Malfurion stuff. So this is the same patch we were working with last week with the Tracer damage buff, but cooldown increase. And health buff and stuff like that. Tracer, I don't even want to really call it a rework. It's buff to her damage, nerf to the cooldowns. Very much a changed Tracer, but it's hard to say it's buffed or nerfed. Depends on who you're talking about. Well, if they want to run the Maiev, she is available here with the full range of tank choices. Garrosh would be a great choice for the map. I think the combo with Taunt and the Maiev is very strong. They're going to go down that path. Took a little while to think about it, but
just having second thoughts on what they want to build after a few possible picks come out from GLuck.
Yeah.
They already have Malfi. They can bring their Tracer back to the play. Of course, won't be as powerful. Because recall time and the blink, the cooldown has been nerfed. It's actually a lot harder to escape from the Umbral Bind from Maiev. So you have to really carefully position yourself if you want to play Tracer. Only if you are super confident, which I don't think it's often the case.
Well, GLuck is giving some thought to this one. They have both Shimada brothers available, which is very powerful on this map. Genji very strong with a tank that has good CC to look for picks. Tracer, as you mentioned, very difficult to play against the Maiev. They're going to take Hanzo instead. So Hanzo, we can just try to avoid and outpoke this composition.
Still the same Hanzo, just again before the nerf to his level 4 W talent. Genji's still open, which is still pretty good for either teams.
Yeah, Genji is especially good with Tyrael, but depending on what support BlossoM gets, it can be quite powerful there. Will be banned, so we're moving that away here.
GLuck, if they are thinking ahead, of course, Junkrat or Stukov also. I think they were afraid about the silence that may actually cancel the Sank from the Tyrael.
Yeah, can be very annoying to deal with. So this means that with Genji removed, Uther's still pretty unlikely. So with all these DPSs removed, Phoenix, Genji, Medivh removed even, Hanzo's taken away. There's not a whole lot of choices here in terms of auto attacks that have good wave clear. Greymane is probably going to be the best bet at this point, unless they want to run something like a Cassia. So if you're looking for wave clear, you're looking for the Greymane. Valenash not really having a place here. Volstad available, but never really a go-to pick for BlossoM. They used to usually control the macro with Wiz in the top lane, not with global heroes that are also DPSs. That's why they don't really run Abathur either.
Junkrat is an okay one on this map.
Certainly.
To poke from the backside, but they may lack some burst damage, so they're bringing in Rehgar to get the kill. I think just having Junkrat to poke from the back and looking for some wombo combo may not be enough damage for multiple targets. So they will bring in a Rehgar. Rehgar actually does tons of damage just with the basic attack and also the wolf form going in, biting in.
He's very powerful. Rhaegar with this comp can be very strong because you do have a lot of pick potential with the Umbral Bind. And obviously we talked about this to death, but Junkrat's Riptire plus the Prison, or the Warden's Cage, can be so powerful. You need to have Sanctification available when that happens. If you don't, it is going to be a bad time. And you need to be able to kind of track the cooldown of that, track where Tyrael is going to be, where he's dropped his Aldruin, so you know how to place the Warden away, or try to bait out early before the fight starts that Sanctification to be used. But if you can do that, you can do a lot with this combo, especially before 13, before Malfurion gets that Ice Block, before Holy Ground. Wow, double support here.
Double support and
practically
Hanzo.
Triple support. Interesting. Very much viable for this map.
I was going back to our old games and maybe thinking of Falstad coming out for this engage. Maybe Lyric is pretty good with the Entomb. Can trap one also, just can't use the March to sustain. But only having Hanzo with the double support on this map, they have good wave clear. They can continue doing it. But when it comes to teamfight, when they have to clash together, I think they are going to have a hard time. Usually the Sanctification will just be the protection ground, not going in for their own dive. More of a safety tool.
I wonder if Sonya is viable here against the Arc. It seems like a tough situation. Sonya can do a lot of split pushing, but there's not a lot of gank potential for GLuck. So even though you have this this comp that has no real solo laner from GLuck, besides, I mean, Lyric will be there, but they're going to be roaming a lot. It just doesn't have any way to put pressure on it or gank a Sonya. So while GLuck is roaming around trying to grab their gems while they're trying to turn in and the delays are coming through, Sonya can get a lot of split pushing done, but still not as viable as she would be potentially on larger maps. But I do like the final pick here.
I do like the picks from both teams, of course, more leaning towards BlossoM. They have Mayet, they have a lot of control. Maybe Sonya is thinking about Leap, like a full wombo combo if they want to go that way.
Could be. You know, anything is possible with Maiev on the board. We're going to be seeing a lot of her, so get used to it. Medivh being so popular right now, and Phoenix on the, we're on the patch with Phoenix enabled. We're going to be seeing a lot of that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what happens at the beginning of the game. No one ever stops to watch that. But look at that. Look at the fort spawn too. Whoa. Or sorry, I have to keep the walls. Yo, whoa. Came right out of the ground, GLuck. Where were they before? Straight underground. That's the Hall of Storms. That's where people die go.
Spider signs on the ground. Yes, thank you, no chat.
Well, Relic is still going to do some poke damage here. Very careful movements by BlossoM. Remember GLuck even just 1 year ago? People always used to just take 5v5 fights in the middle for no reason. We don't do that anymore.
They had reasons. Stop looking at me like that.
Okay, sometimes there are reasons.
To test your enemy team's strength was the best way of
Or
putting it.
maybe you had an ETC and you were looking for a pick, but the other team that went to meet the team that had an ETC was dying. It was bad. It was a different time.
Yeah.
I just want to say we live in a better time.
Much better.
Oh,
There's a
look at
bind
this.
again, and Milky Way doesn't have his Aldruins away, so some more damage, not all in, but that's something else that GLuck has to be thinking. If that wasn't Tyrael, if that was something like a Tastar or Hanzo, Malfurion, that was going to be a death for sure.
Yeah, just much better control of that fight, much better trading. And you can see that Sonya is able to control the bot lane a little bit right now. It's being pretty even. This is a fast camp here. That's going to put a lot more pressure on mid.
That's what BlossoM has to do. When you think about the wombo combo after 10, BlossoM has the control on everything, it seems like. But GLuck, since they have a lot of range, a lot of poke, a lot of wave clear, they're going to lead in the rotation somewhat. So BlossoM starting that camp early on seems like a smart move to me.
Yeah. I heard Maiev doesn't like Illidan. Why is she trying to look like him with this skin? What's going on with that?
Wait, who's older?
Older? I don't know. I just know Illidan's at least 10,000 years old. That's all I know.
I know Maiev has been chasing him for that long, and isn't she the one that imprisoned him also?
Yeah.
So she must be older than Illidan somewhat.
Well, here's a thought, Blizzard. If you want to make the containment disc viable, just make it last more than 5 seconds. Make it 10,000 years.
10,000 years.
Then maybe
and we'll be casting for 10,000 years. And the other regions will not be able to cast.
No, it's fine. You just walk away from the containment disc. You just go kill the core. The game's still in, G-Clip.
Well, I think you should be banning some hero if that happens. Well, Nasang's caught here. What a Rehgar, and the rotation coming from Malfurion if it gets.
This is risky for GLuck to actually commit to here because Wiz has so much sustainability, and they have Maiev. Do a lot of damage, get a lot of resets. GLuck should not have contested this, especially losing the 2v1 for so long with Saron. Junkrat is pushing mid, sorry, dealing with the mid push, excuse me. So grabbing some of that extra experience is a really good position for BlossoM.
I think it was contestable. They had earlier rotation compared to BlossoM, but somewhat neglecting, as you mentioned, the sustainability from Sonya. How she could just take the camp, just whirlwind.
Yeah, like, the sustainability of Leoric is with his Drain Hope. But after that, you just can't do anything, whereas Sonya's just like going to be able to whirlwind repeatedly and just continue to keep sustaining with her Warpaint as well. Oh, they got the grab here. I don't think he has shift.
Maybe he does.
Well, he's being aggressive, so, you know, maybe I was wrong about that, but ends up being okay. Faster turn in here for BlossoM, though, because they controlled the map. They got that faster cap. This is, again, just going to be them trying to push their way to level 10 faster. They can utilize that combo. The early game is strong because not only do they have Maiev, they have Garrosh and Junkrat, so that's a lot of CC. GLuck, you could argue, has potential to teamfight after 10 as well, but the early game is even weaker. BlossoM has strong early game and post 10. The Sanctification is going to have to be, like, Milky Way is going to have to make those worth it every time, or they're going to have really big problems team fighting with this draft.
Yes, if you look at the picks from GLuck, it just seems defensive, defensive, defensive. Defend, protect, defend. Do you really have your own damage to get a kill? It will be very tough, and Rehgar's still available. Garrosh with that armor. There's no one to actually break through that armor. Maybe Leoric does the best job with the Drain Hope. I think that's about it, though.
Saron needs to be careful here. He was already used the spear, so he'd be fine, but now Modern Life is coming over, teleporting in. They're going to get this fort. Meanwhile, Junkrat's just swapping between lanes to make sure they don't lose any minion experience. And this ends up being a very effective Web Weaver, getting them about 2 levels lead.
Hanzo. Great play. Great body blocks from Milky Way, but he may be caught.
Milky Way is definitely going to get caught.
Q should be back very soon, but right before that, CCs will catch him.
Yeah, only doing a little bit of damage to Nasang there with his trait. That's First Blood. As we do push into this mid-keep, the wave push is insanely strong. They have almost enough for another turn in, and this fort is nearly going to give them 10. So GLuck just needs to play passively. I love that Tastar is actually pushing top and soaking top as best as he can. It's not going to be helpful to protect mid, but you got to take your victories where you can. He's got Dimensional Shift, able to escape trades like this against the Rehgar.
At least GLuck is turning a few gems in.
Yeah, they have too.
They have enough. They have enough, and they can, if they can find holes like that, because BlossoM, they have been rotating together mostly because they have lots of melee. They want to use that siege damage to actually push. That's why they're ahead so far already. But GLuck, if they can actually find holes like that with the rotation, if they're on top, I think they can come back into this game. Not too much of a lead already.
Yeah. Just to make sure that they prevent the second turn in, though. So it's difficult against a level 10, especially with Warden's Cage. BlossoM knows they have 10. They're just going to take total control of the map, take this Night Camp away, which will start to hit the keep wall. GLuck checks over the wall here, but knows that with everybody here, they cannot invade. The only new Sonya was mid, but it's even difficult to soak right now with anyone except Tastar because he has Dimensional Shift. He's got good wave clear, so he's up there. Saron's going to go and try to sneak that turn in. If he can get it, I think that will be enough gems.
Maiev is already there, and Sonya, meanwhile, is working on the camp. So BlossoM is in control of the siege and the camp together. They're using their melee comp to maximize their macro here, and GLuck, they're just defending. It seems like they will just have this game finished, just defending the game and never really engaging yourself.
Yeah, look at Sonya, man. We talked about how powerful of a pick she can be, given the draft here and how this is going to be played on this map. Saren couldn't get that turn in. Now he's stuck. He's going to die in the top lane again. Well, he's got this forward up, but he's taunted. And there's the grab. This should be enough damage to finish him off. Ancestral does not connect, however, so ends up being a trade here. Losing Garrosh, just having too much faith in that extra armor. But look at all the damage being done by the bot push. They didn't get the turn in regardless. No gems were lost on the side of BlossoM. GLuck finally has 10, but it'll be difficult to utilize it. Ooh, and the choice of Tranquility. Can't say I agree with that one. That's only going to be good if they survive the initial combos, or the Sanctification is perfect.
I was even thinking maybe a Judgment if they're going outside of the box here. Okay, that's another death from
sad. That was just... Maev's pretty good.
You try to walk out, and maybe sometimes you can't. It's one of the things Lyric tries to do. Of course, GLuck, they can finish their quest later on, but they have been far pushed. They didn't lose any keeps though. So in terms of rotation, they can still catch back, but so far they have been losing because of their picks. I think their picks are way too weak for this map to contest against all the melee. The first damage that can come in from BlossoM.
Well, this is another why we were pushed. Like you said, they don't have a lot of range damage besides Tastar and the Hanzo to deal with these pushes. They're being threatened all the time. And this looks like a saved keep in mid. Spot keep is going to be damaged again. Should be saved. Saron's caught. But he's Leoric, so he might be able to get out of here. Look at this healing totem coming down. Rhaegar will get the Ancestral this time. They save the keep. Sonya split pushing top. Again, just trying to further that experience lead. Been working on this all game long as Wiz, and just making the Sonya pick valuable.
And all the walls are down. They're so far away from where GLuck can actually turn their own gems. They have more than a turn in here. 51 now, 52. But can they even get close to it? They have to first release all the wave pressure.
Yeah.
So that will take a few minutes. And BlossoM, meanwhile, they can just do the boss and everything else that they want to do. So in terms of spending time, BlossoM is going to take the lead.
Just have control over the vision, control over the map. GLuck is moving in here to try to find something. Tyrael gets caught there by the trap. Has to actually use his cooldowns to escape. Gondar blocking, body blocking here so that turn-in can come through. They don't have enough turn-ins, but they're halfway there.
Rhaegar's turning everything in. If they had enough, if BlossoM had enough, they would have already had chance to. Overlord is getting his in. Wiz did not spot in time.
Yeah, Overlord's gonna die for this, but thing is it actually worth it that he dies for this? Well, if they don't hit the tether, he's not going to. He used his Archon. That's a big victory, so this is worth it. If he died, though, I don't know if this turn would be worth it, because look at where the web weavers are going to spawn. Not really even close to the forts. What GLuck needs is one team fight into a turn-in, so that they can actually get something out of it. Here comes the combo. Riptire out already.
Oh, Hanzo's right in there. There's the Sanctification, though.
Baited early, though. Relic taking a lot of damage. Good stun here, though, from Hanzo's Dragon Arrow. Nasong caught here in this Entomb. Can't Ancestral himself, just uses it on Wiz here to make sure he gets something out of it.
They're following up with the damage. Nice focusing onto Rhaegar, who couldn't heal himself too much. That was a great interaction. That was a great defense by GLuck. How Milky Way just went in Sanctification when Hanzo was pulled in from the Umbral and also the cage.
Yeah, the Sank was good, but you know, it was ignored mostly by BlossoM, of course, but then the arrow follow-up, that was the best part. And then the Riptire only hit the bottom part of the fight, including Relic, but it just wasn't enough damage. So BlossoM ends up with some lost fort walls here. They're still ahead. Now have enough for another turn-in, but had GLuck lost that team fight, they probably would have lost the game. So good quick thinking there by Relic and Milky Way to make sure that fight went well. Still keep all their forts alive, though.
Hanzo's doing camp while BlossoM turning everything in when they have enough. Let's see. This may be more than a single keep. The waves are a little bit away this time, so maybe a little bit better, but still ways times away from that level 16 mark.
Well, this is going to be pushing towards the keeps directly that are all damaged. GLuck needs to make sure they retreat. Ping's coming down here.
Oh, get Modern going. Whoa, that was...
Dimensional shift really well timed there. But, you know, it's going to be... it's going to be scary when you're trying to avoid this combo every time.
For a second, I was pretty scared, you know?
Yeah.
When you see a Maiev walking in like that, you have to just back away. And that's a long cooldown, too.
Very long cooldown. And also just gives control to the lanes. Ondar just looking for ground breakers over the wall. They're just going to force one of these keeps, or possibly two of these keeps down. GLuck can't defend both. But we were already on top here. Maiev setting up.
Can't be all staying together. They have to be far away from each other somewhat, so that it throws in a fast start. Gets taunted. Not even the time to shift away and survive. That's going to be two keeps, and going for the core now. Yep. BlossoM is.
Tyrael should have Sanctification available now, but still deal with too much damage here.
No follow-up, no damage, continuing, and core is going down 50. So much damage onto the core.
Tranquility not going to be helpful here. This is going to be game number 1, going over to Team BlossoM. Pretty dominant fashion with that Maiev pick. Controlling the map, controlling rotations, getting kills in the early game, taking full advantage of the camps and their level 10 advantage. Both teams have solid team fights at 10. You can have the Sanctification counter, you can have these combos with the Riptire, the Warden's Cage, but when they have the Warden's Cage combo and you don't have 10, you just have to put your hands up and surrender the map over to the team that does. In this case, BlossoM totally controls the map, gets back-to-back turn-ins, nearly gets the triple. If Overlord actually hadn't sneaked that turn-in, we would have had the triple. You can see Relic does a ton of damage, 0 deaths. But he just couldn't actually do much in terms of grabbing pokes because they were so shut down. The map control was always away from him, so he had to play so defensive.
If you have Hanzo, you need something else. At least a Regar or a support who can actually do damage, go in and grab the kill. You can get lots of targets too low, but it's really hard to get the kill yourself. And if you go in to try to get the kill, you will be dead also in terms of what we have on the other side. So they were going into this game with no answers against what to do before 10, after 10. And you could see in the game how they rotate. They were trying to just wave clear, soak in some gems, maybe get a lucky turn in, which they did. But nothing else really followed after that.
So I heard GLuck, there were a few pro gamers that had this sentiment that should add a third ban during the first phase. And that's all. I think that was what was said. No, I think there were about like 20 pro gamers who said this or something like that. I heard the consensus that that's what people are looking at. But guess what? We don't have it. So Maiev is going to be very highly picked here. Do you want to deal with a Maiev? You want to deal with a Medivh?
I think that's the question we'll see every single time today.
Like, because you definitely don't want to deal with the Phoenix. You definitely don't want that. That's going to be a brand ban pretty much every time. I think we'll see one Phoenix game where he actually comes out. That's my prediction. Just because I feel like eventually in a best of 5